Hello Robins, I'm going to read a chapter book to you this week. It's not a very long one, but I thought we'd start with a small one and then we can work our way up to longer ones for you to really get your teeth stuck into. This one is called The Owl Who Was Afraid of the Dark, and on the back the blurb says, Plop is a beautiful baby barn owl, perfect in almost every way except for just one thing. Plop is afraid of the dark. Now, I wonder if you know the name of the adjective that describes animals that come out after dark. If you don't know, I wonder how you could find out. You could look on Kids Search, which is a Google for kids, and just type into it, what are animals called that come out at night? Anyway, chapter 1, dark is exciting. There's Plop on the front for you to see. Plop was a baby barn owl, and he lived with his mummy and daddy at the top of a very tall tree in a field. Plop was fat and fluffy. He had a beautiful heart-shaped ruff. He had enormous round eyes, and he had very knackety knees. In fact, he was exactly the same as every barn owl that has ever been, except for one thing. Plop was afraid of the dark. "You can't be afraid of the dark," said his mummy. "Owls are never afraid of the dark." "This one is," Plop said. "But owls are night birds," she said. Plop looked down at his toes. "I don't want to be a night bird," he mumbled. "I want to be a day bird." "You are what you are," said Mrs. Barn Owl firmly. "Yes, I know," agreed Plop. "And what I are is afraid of the dark." "Oh dear," said Mrs. Barn Owl. It was clear that she was going to need a lot of patience. She shut her eyes and tried to think how best she could help Plop not to be afraid. Plop waited. His mother opened her eyes again. "Plop, you're only afraid of the dark because you don't know about it. What do you know about the dark?" "It's black," said Plop. "Well, that's wrong for a start. It can be silver or grey or blue or lots of other colours, but almost never black. What else do you know about it?" "I don't like it," said Plop. "I do not like it at all." "That's not knowing something," said his mother. "That's feeling something. I don't think you know anything about the dark at all." "Dark is nasty," said Plop loudly. "You don't know that. You've never had your beak outside the nest hole after dusk. I think you'd better go down into the world and find out a lot more about the dark before you make your mind up about it." "Now," said Plop. "Now," said his mother. Plop climbed out of the nest hole and wobbled along the branch outside. He peeped over the edge. The world seemed to be a very long way down. "I'm not a very good lander," he said. "I might spill myself." "Your landing will improve with patience," said his mother. "Look, there's a little boy down there on the edge of the wood collecting sticks. Go and talk to him about it." "Now," said Plop. "Now," said his mother. So Plop shut his eyes, took a deep breath and fell off his branch. His small white wings carried him down, but as he said, he was not a good lander. He did 7 very fast somersaults past the little boy. "Ooh!" cried the little boy, "a giant Catherine wheel." "Actually," said the Catherine wheel, picking himself up, "I'm a barn owl." "Oh yes, so you are," said the little boy with obvious disappointment. "Of course, you couldn't be a firework yet. Dad says we can't have fireworks until it gets dark. Oh, wish it would hurry up and get dark soon." "You want it to get dark?" said Plop in amazement. "Oh yes," said the little boy. "Dark is exciting. And tonight is especially exciting because we're going to have fireworks." "What are fireworks?" asked Plop. "I don't think owls have them. Not barn owls, anyway." "Don't you?" said the little boy. "Oh, you poor thing. Well, there are rockets and flying saucers and volcanoes and golden rain and sparklers and—" "But what are they?" begged Plop. "Do you eat them?" "No," laughed the little boy. "Daddy sets fire to their tails and they whoosh into the air and they fill the sky with coloured stars. Well, the rockets, that is. I'm allowed to hold the sparklers." What about the volcanoes and the golden rain? What do they do? Oh, they sort of burst into showers of stars. The golden rain pours, well, like rain. And the flying saucers? Oh, they're super. They whiz round your head and make a sort of wee noise. I like them best. I think I'd like fireworks, said Plop. I'm sure you would, said the little boy. Look here, where do you live? Up in that tree, in the top flat. There are squirrels farther down. That big tree in the middle of the field. Well, you can watch our fireworks from there. That's our garden, the one with the swing. You look out as soon as it gets dark. Does it have to be dark? Asked Plop. Of course it does. You can't see fireworks until it's dark. Well, I must go. These sticks are for the bonfire. Bonfire, said Plop. What's that? You'll see if you look out tonight. Goodbye. Goodbye, said Plop, bobbing up and down in a funny little bow. He watched the boy run across the field and then took a little run himself, spread his wings and fluttered up to the landing branch. He slithered along it on his tummy and dived head first into the nest hole. Well, said his mother, the little boy says dark is exciting. And what do you think, Plop? I still don't like it at all, said Plop, but I'm going to watch the fireworks if you'll sit by me. I will sit by you, said his mother. So will I, said his father, who'd just woken up. I like fireworks. So that is what they did. When it began to get dark, Plop waddled to the mouth of the nest hole and peered out cautiously. Come on, Plop, I think they're starting, called Mr. Barn Owl. He was already in position on a big branch at the very top of the tree. We shall see beautifully from here. Plop took 2 brave little steps out of the nest hole. I'm here, said his mother quietly. Come on. So together, wings almost touching, they flew up to join Mr. Barn Owl. They were only just in time. There were flames leaping and crackling at the end of the little boy's garden. That must be the bonfire, squeaked Plop. Hardly had Plop got his wings tucked away when, whoosh, up went a rocket and spat out a shower of green stars. Ooh, said Plop, his eyes like saucers. A fountain of dancing stars sprung up from the ground, and another and another. Oh, said Plop again. You sound like Tawny Owl, said his father. Goodness, what's that? Something was whizzing about, leaving bright trails of squiggles behind it and making a loud whee noise. Oh, that's a flying saucer, said Plop. Really, his father said. I've never seen one of those before. You seem to know all about it. What's that fizzy one that keeps jigging up and down? I expect that's my friend with a sparkler. Oh, there's a me. I beg your pardon, said Plop's father. It's a Catherine wheel. The little boy thought I was a Catherine wheel when I landed. Oh, isn't it beautiful? And he thought I was one. Mr. Barn Owl watched the whirling, sparkling circles spinning round and round. That must have been quite a landing, he said. Dark is kind. When the very last firework had faded away, Mr. Barn Owl turned to Plop. Well, son, he said, I'm off hunting now. Would you like to come? Plop looked at the darkness all around him. It seemed even blacker after the bright fireworks. Not this time, thank you, Daddy. I can't see. I've got stars in my eyes. I see, said his father. In that case, I shall have to go by myself. He floated off into the darkness like a great white moth. Plop turned in distress to his mother. I wanted to go with him. I want to like the dark. It's just that I don't seem to be able to. You will be able to, Plop. I'm quite sure about that. I'm not sure, said Plop. Well, I am, said his mother. Now come on, you'd better have your rest. You were awake for half the day. So Plop had his midnight rest, and when he woke up, his father was back with the dinner. Plop swallowed it in one huge gulp. That was nice, he said. What was it? A mouse, said Mr. Barn Owl. I like mouse, said Plop. What's next? I have no idea, said his father. It's Mummy's turn now. You'll have to wait till she gets back. Plop was always hungry, and his mother and father were kept very busy bringing him food all night long. When daylight came, they were very tired and just wanted to go to sleep. Bedtime, Plop, said Mrs. Barn Owl. I don't want to go to bed, said Plop. I want to be a day bird. Well, I am a night bird, said his mother, and if your father and I don't get any sleep today, you won't get anything to eat tonight." Plop didn't like the sound of that at all. So he drew himself up straight and tall, well, as tall as he could, and he tried to go to sleep. He did sleep for half the morning, but then he woke up full of beans, or perhaps it was mouse, and he just couldn't go back to sleep again. He jiggled up and down on the branch where his poor parents were trying to roost. He practiced standing on one leg and taking off and landing and other important things that a little owl has to learn to do. Then he thought he'd try out his voice. He tried to make a real grown-up barn owl noise. "Eek!" he screeched. "Eek!" It sounded like the noise a cat makes if you accidentally tread upon its tail, but Plop was really pleased with it. Mrs. Barn Owl was not. She half opened one bleary eye. "Plop, dear," she said, "wouldn't you like to go down into the world again and find out some more about the dark?" "Now?" said Plop. "Now," said his mother. "Don't you want to hear my screech first? It's getting jolly good." "I heard it," Mrs. Barn Owl said. "Look, there's an old lady in a deck chair in that garden. Go and find out what she thinks of the dark." So Plop shut his eyes, took a deep breath and fell off his branch. And we'll find out what the old lady says about the dark tomorrow. Don't forget, look on Kids Search if you want to find out the name of animals that like the dark.